Thank the gentleman. Chair, and I recognize the gentleman from California, Mr. Rohrabacher, for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much. Does the INF Treaty, it covers basically intermediate range and cruise missiles? Is that what we're talking about? Okay. Let me just say that some of the premises this discussion has been on are disturbing to me. And let me just ask, is it your premise that if there was a nuclear exchange, we should be preparing for a situation where we could come out of a nuclear exchange with some warfighting capabilities left? I mean, when you're talking about we need to defend with missile defense some particular storage or some capabilities, if there was ever a nuclear exchange, do you believe that we could have a limited nuclear exchange with the Russians?
Sir, no. Why I am such a supporter of the modernization is we want to deter that from happening. And the best way to deter a nuclear exchange is to have capable U.S. nuclear forces.
Well, you certainly, but anything but capable nuclear forces that are after an exchange, I will have to say that if it starts, do we believe that if Russia actually invades Western Europe, that would happen without a nuclear exchange? That we would not then move forward? And there wouldn't be rockets going off? That they would take the chance of just going in and allowing us a first strike? Anyway, this makes no sense when I'm listening to you talk about these things. Quite frankly, as you are aware, we have enough weapons to destroy them instantaneously. Do we believe that the Russians have a plan to invade Western Europe?
So I won't touch on whether, in the intel perspective, the key from the Department of Defense is we need to plan as if they would and as if they do.
Okay, and if
planning to do that
is part of our plan is that they can invade and we wouldn't have a nuclear exchange?
We would love, yes, absolutely. If they do not use nuclear weapons, I would argue that we have sufficient capabilities.
You actually, any sane person who thinks that there would be a massive invasion of Western Europe and there wouldn't be a nuclear exchange is living in la-la land. Let me ask you this. When you say about when we have, okay, our sea-based and air-based nuclear weapons, you know, the cruise and IM and intermediate range weapons, are they covered by the INF Treaty?
No, sir. The INF Treaty only deals with ground-based capabilities.
Right. Okay. So when we have maneuvers, which we have had in Estonia, when we put, by the way, when we put our maneuvers right on their border, and we're not expecting them that to have an impact on their view of the world. When we do that, if we have B-52 bombers flying from England as part of the maneuvers that we have had in the Balkans, is the B-52 bomber capable of carrying these cruise missiles and these intermediate type range nuclear weapons?
Yes.
Yes. We have ships that have also been part of these maneuvers in the Balkans, or excuse me, the Baltics. Are the ships that we send there, are they capable of carrying these nuclear weapons?
Well, sir, my understanding, and I'll defer to Bob, is that we made a decision in the early 1990s to remove nuclear-tipped cruise missiles from our surface ships, but we do maintain the ability and deploy conventionally armed Tomahawk.
The answer is yes, they are capable of this. So we have, and we're complaining about the Russians and their intent with developing some weapons that are now in their country, but now we are sitting engaged in sending to their border, weapon systems that can deliver these very same nuclear weapons.
and they are doing the same to us. In fact, I would argue that their exercises on their border with NATO allies are even more
They're
provocative.
saying, no, wait a minute, they're saying to us. They're doing it in their country. We're not in our country. They're doing it. You know, this. I just had a hearing a couple weeks ago on the Baltics, and no, I personally don't buy that when Russia has maneuvers inside their own country versus us having maneuvers on their border is the same. No, when they have maneuvers in their country, just like we have maneuvers in our country, it is not something that in some way we should look at as a hostile act. They might even be a defensive act. Perhaps us flying our B-52 bombers right at them and then turning around at the last minute, or stationing ships that deliver nuclear weapons, perhaps that, and perhaps sending more armored units right up to their border in the Baltics, perhaps that's the reason they have those maneuvers.
Gentleman's time's expired. Mr. Scher, you were wanting to make a response, and
Yeah, clear.
I'd like to hear your response.
Sure. First of all, just to be clear, despite the fact that the surface ships theoretically retain the capability to launch nuclear weapons, they currently do not have them on. That can't always be the case necessarily, but we do not have that capability, period, full stop.
Great. Thank you.
Secondly, yeah,
Go ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead.
That's-
No, go ahead.
No,
I want to hear the second.
The other
free to
piece that I will-
refute. You're here.
We
That's
all,
fine. That's a hearing
we all have, everyone gets to see the exercises going on in different perspectives. I would argue that a Russian exercise on its border, out of its garrison, that is oriented towards NATO allies is something that we need as an alliance to understand and respond to. It is certainly a potentially vicious cycle, and wonders, but I would argue that we in the alliance have done nothing to make it clear that we've done nothing that says we are looking to invade Russia. Russia has done many things that make it very uncomfortable, and we are there to protect the alliance and make it clear that our commitment to our allies is as steadfast as it always has been, and that an invasion of an attack on any ally is the same as if it were on the United States per our treaty commitment.
I want to thank all the witnesses. Your testimony has been very enlightening and helpful to these committees, and with that, we are adjourned.